did 4 medium onions in the mandolin, and they're nice and thinly sliced. Next, we're going to take 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to melt it in a hot pan so that we can caramelize our onions. So once the butter's melted, we're going to take our onions and we're going to add them all into the pan, and then we're going to let them just start getting soaked with the butter and cooking down until they're nice and brown and caramelized. You see that nice caramel color that's starting to form? It takes about 15 minutes. So while the onions are caramelizing, we are going to take 2½ cups of water, and we are going to add a tablespoon of dry yeast, and then 4 tablespoons of granulated sugar. I'm using organic granulated sugar today. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're just going to let that sit and brew for a little bit so it gets nice and bubbly. So now that the onions are done caramelizing, we are going to move them into a bowl. Once it's nice and bubbly, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 1, 2 teaspoons of salt. 1, 2. And then we just added 4 cups of whole wheat flour, 1 at a time. Next, we're going to add unbleached white flour, 4 cups, 1 at a time. 1, 2. We had to turn the mixer up a little bit. We're going to wait a minute before we add the 3rd and the 4th. We're going to let that blend in for a minute. Once the dough starts sticking to the side of the bowl, again, go ahead and add cup number 3. Now this is the unbleached white flour. Whoops, we're going to have to go down a notch because it's pushing it out of the bowl. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a tablespoon of sage right now to start mixing into the dough, and slowly adding that 4th cup of flour. Sometimes you don't need this much flour, so you've got to watch it. But we have caramelized onions that still need to go in, that's going to make the dough wet. So if it's cooled down enough, I'm going to go ahead and start adding those in. And you'll see it's going to make the dough moist again. See that? So now we do need to add that cup of flour back in, and the rest of it in. Slowly though, so you can keep an eye on your dough. And then we're just going to let the dough hook do the work and do the kneading for us. So we're going to let it go for 5 to 10 minutes. So on a clean surface with a little bit of flour laid down, we're going to dump our bread onto it, and we're going to continue kneading until we get a nice clean window pane. We're going to give it a little check. Oh, I got a nice window pane actually. Before it broke, it was nice and thin. So we're almost there. That's good. All right, okay. So now I have a bowl over here that I've already put some oil in, and we're just gonna oil this dough up, and then I'm going to get a piece of plastic, put it over it, and let it sit for an hour or so. So as you can see, the bread has doubled in the pan. So now I'm going to get 2 loaf pans, and I'm going to butter them really good, and then we're going to shape the loaves in the pans. Now I'm going to take this loaf and I'm going to simply dump it onto the countertop. There we go. Came out beautifully. A little bit that didn't come out, just go back and grab it. Now, you can punch it down, that's fine. I'm going to roll it here. I'm going to cut it in half. Because this is going to be for stuffing, I'm not concerned about the sizes of these loaves being perfectly equal. So it's okay to do this. Now I'm going to shape the first loaf, and I'm going to just stretch it because it's thicker right through here. So I want to try to get that thickness kind of smoothed out a little bit. That's all right if you don't. It's just a loaf of bread. Nothing's going to get harmed in the process. And because my pans are only yay wide, I really don't want to go much wider. And then I'm simply going to roll it tightly. Ooh, you can see the sage, you can see the onion, and then do a little bit of a tucking, and then I'm going to simply drop it into the pan. And I'm going to let it rise for a second rise, and then we're going to bake it. Now they're ready for their second rise. We're just going to wait. Oven set at 350. It just went off. It's heated through. And look how nicely these have risen up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bake them at 350 for 40 minutes, and then we'll check them. We could go 45, but usually 40 is good enough at 350. Oh my goodness, these loaves are huge. They came out of the pan significantly, but before I pull them completely out, I'm going to put butter on the top. We're going to have a buttered crust. See how big that thing is? How big? So we are now going to take this bread. We're going to take the bread and we're going to cut it into cubes, and then we're going to put it on a cookie sheet and we're going to put it in the oven. This way it dries out for our stuffing mix. So I just simply slice it. You can slice it any thickness you want, and then once it's sliced, by waiting a day it firms up a little bit, but you can do it as soon as it's cool enough for you to handle. It makes no difference. I probably do 3/4 inch cubes. So slice it and then I cube it. And I'm going to put it directly onto a cookie sheet that I have sitting here ready to go. There we go. Then it's going to go into the oven. I've got the oven set to 275. You can go 260, just cooler oven. You don't want a high temperature. And you're going to check it every 20 minutes because it's going to take several hours for it to dry out. So the timer just went off for the first 20 minutes, and we're just going to simply take a spoon or some kind of utensil and stir everything so that it keeps getting the heat evenly distributed so it dries out nice and evenly. So you need to start testing them. These are starting to firm up, but I still have soft spots, so I know that I need to put them back in. See, that one's really soft, but I have some definitive firm ones. So we're going to do another 20 minutes. So now I've got this out of the oven. The stuffing is out of the oven, and they're really hard crouton type. And now I'm just going to bag them. I do them into 1-pound bags. You don't even have to bag them if you're just using it directly for Thanksgiving, but that's how you make stuffing mix, and you have it all ready to go. And this is Kelly signing off from Yellowknife Homestead. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.